Commander Abby Winters stood at the main viewport of Ceres Command, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond the asteroid belt. The massive space station hummed with activity as technicians monitored the vast network of sensors that kept watch over this section of space. Abby rubbed her tired eyes. The 12-hour shift was almost over and nothing unusual had happened, just the way she liked it. 15 years in Earth fleet had taught her that excitement usually meant trouble. The calm was broken by a soft beep from the sensor station. Lieutenant Gloria Chen looked up from her console, her face pale. "Commander, we have an anomaly at Sector 7. Gloria said, her voice steady despite the tension visible in her shoulders. "The readings are unlike anything in our database." "Show me." Abby moved to the central holographic display as Gloria transferred the data. A three-dimensional image appeared, showing a massive object moving through space between Mars and Jupiter. Its shape was unlike any human vessel, sleek and almost predatory, with curves that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. The object measured nearly 2 kilometers in length according to the preliminary scans, yet it had somehow avoided detection until it was well inside the asteroid belt. That was impossible given the network of sensors humanity had established throughout the solar system. "Run a full spectrum analysis," Abby ordered, keeping her voice calm, despite the flutter of anxiety in her chest. Gloria nodded and initiated the scan sequence. The powerful sensors of Ceres Command sent invisible beams of energy toward the unknown object. The station computers began processing the returned data, but something was wrong. "No data return." Gloria frowned. "Its hull is absorbing all our scanning attempts. Increase power to maximum range," Abby ordered. "We need to know what we're dealing with." The sensor officer complied, and the station's scanners pulsed with renewed energy. Suddenly, the main screen flashed with warning symbols. The unknown vessel had changed course, making a sharp turn that would be impossible for any human ship. It was now moving away from Earth at increasing speed. It reacted to our scan. Gloria whispered. "It knew we were looking, and it didn't like it." Abby stared at the retreating object. That was no coincidence. The timing was too perfect. The alien vessel had specifically reacted to their scanning attempt, as if the scan itself had been detected as a threat or an invasion. "Get me Admiral Kelly," Abby said quietly. "We need to report this now, across the galaxy, in a structure that defied human architectural understanding." The Galactic Consortium gathered in emergency session. The 17 most advanced species known to exist met in a chamber of crystalline spires that served as both meeting place and data hub. The light inside pulsed with information as the various delegates communicated in ways that transcended simple speech. Senior xenobiologist Vextrel, a being whose form resembled a tall, willowy humanoid with skin that shifted colors with her emotions, stood at the center of the chamber. Her usual violet hue had faded to a sickly gray as she struggled to maintain her composure. The scout vessel reported complete neural disruption when it entered the Sol system. Vextrel said, her voice translating into 17 different languages simultaneously. The entire crew experienced a form of mental invasion when the human scanning technology touched our ship. The consortium leaders shared a collective moment of disbelief. Ranatha, being composed of shifting geometric patterns, pulsed with concern. "Explain this invasion," Ranath demanded. "How can simple electromagnetic scanning create neural disruption?" Vextrel brought up a holographic representation of a human scanner and a consortium brain structure. "Our preliminary analysis suggests that human scanning technology inadvertently creates a neural feedback loop with any sentient being caught in its path," she explained. "When they scan us, they unintentionally establish a momentary psychic link. Their technology somehow bridges the gap between energy and consciousness." The chamber erupted in mental communication too complex for any human to follow. The idea that a supposedly primitive species could accidentally create technology that invaded the most private sanctuary of advanced beings. Their very minds was disturbing beyond measure. Elder Zith, the oldest member of the consortium and representative of the founding species, raised a limb for silence. The chamber grew quiet. "I have reviewed the data myself. The humans do not appear to realize what their technology does. Each scan doesn't just collect data, it briefly connects their consciousness to whatever they observe. This is unprecedented in our 50,000-year history. Then we must contain them immediately before they develop this technology. Further said Morath, a crystalline entity that served as the consortium's chief strategist. A species that can touch minds without consent is too dangerous to allow. Free expansion, Vextrel shook her head, her skin shifting to a cautionary amber. I attempted direct neural observation of a human vessel during our encounter, she said softly. When I opened my mind to analyze their thought patterns, I was overwhelmed. Their minds are chaotic, individualistic, filled with concepts and emotions our collective species cannot comprehend. I lost consciousness for 3 cycles. The consortium members shifted. Uncomfortably, the implications were clear. Humanity represented something entirely new, a species whose very thought patterns were dangerous to the established order of the galaxy. Elder Zith spoke again. We must learn more before we decide. They are contained in their solar system for now. Monitor but do not engage directly. Their scanning technology must be studied from a safe distance. As the meeting concluded, Vextrel remained in the chamber, her mind troubled by what she'd briefly experienced. In the human thoughts, imagination, violence, hope, despair, love, all existing in individualized patterns unlike the shared consciousness the consortium races had evolved with. In that brief connection, she'd felt something the advanced races had lost. Long ago, the chaos of possibilities that came with truly independent thought. Back on Earth, Admiral Natalie Kelly reviewed Commander Winter's report with growing concern in her Pentagon office. The description of the alien vessel and its reaction to standard scanning procedures suggested they were dealing with an intelligence far beyond human understanding. Contact the President, Natalie told her aide. We need to implement first contact protocol immediately and get me all the data on that scanning sequence. I want to know exactly what made that ship run. As night fell over Earth, humanity remained unaware that their very method of observing the universe had just revealed them as one of its most terrifying species. The massive shipyard orbiting Mars glowed with activity as construction drones swarmed around the framework of a new vessel. Captain Diane Foster watched from the observation deck of the command station. Her new ship, the Pathfinder, neared completion, the first vessel specifically designed with enhanced neural echo arrays. 1 year had passed since Lieutenant Morgan's discovery that humans accidentally performed a kind of mind meld with alien beings. Every time they scanned them, had changed everything. Earth fleet now understood why the aliens retreated from their scanners. The mystery had become a strategic advantage. Admiral Reeves. What do you think? Diane asked, turning to her superior who stood beside her. The older woman studied the ship under construction with sharp eyes. I think it's the most important mission we've ever launched. Admiral Samantha Reeves replied, We need to know what's out there. The diplomatic channels have gone silent for 3 months now. No response to any of our messages. Diane nodded. The knowledge that advanced alien civilizations existed had unified Earth in unprecedented ways. Nations pooled resources. The fleet expanded rapidly. Every ship now carried enhanced scanners redesigned based on Kate's research to maximize the neural echo effect without harming human operators. Your mission parameters remain the same, Captain Reeves said. You will take Pathfinder to the edge of the solar system, near where we detected the alien vessel last year. You will then proceed along their projected course at maximum safe speed. Your primary objective is information gathering, not contact. And if they find us, Diane asked, then you use the scanners defensively. Reeves replied, They fear our scanning technology more than our weapons. Use that fact if necessary. But remember, the goal is to learn, not to provoke. 2 weeks later, Diane stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder as it broke orbit from Mars. The ship hummed with power, its engines pushing it smoothly toward the outer planets. The crew worked efficiently at their stations, all of them aware of the historic nature of their mission. The Pathfinder carried the most advanced sensor package ever created. The main scanner array could detect vessels at 10 times the range of previous technology. The neural echo effect had been carefully calibrated to prevent feedback damage to the human operators, while maximizing the impact on alien consciousness. The ship also carried conventional weapons, but everyone understood that the scanners represented their true strength. Lieutenant Carly Beck. The ship's sensor officer looked up from her station. Captain, long-range sensors are operational. All systems nominal. Thank you, Lieutenant Diane replied. Let me know immediately if you detect anything unusual. The journey to the edge of the solar system took several weeks. The Pathfinder passed the orbit of Neptune and continued outward, toward the vast emptiness beyond. The crew maintained constant vigilance, scanning in all directions. Captain Beck called, her voice tight. I have multiple contacts at extreme range bearing 047 Mark 28. Show me, Diane ordered. The main display activated, showing 7 objects moving in formation. Their design matched the alien vessel encountered the previous year. The ships were on an intercept course, moving at speeds no human vessel could match. Open a channel, all frequencies. Diane said. Lieutenant Susan Ward, the communications officer. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Diane Foster of the Earth vessel, Pathfinder. We are on a peaceful exploration mission. We request communication. No response came from the alien vessels. They continued their approach, maintaining perfect formation. They will be within weapons range in 40 minutes, Lieutenant Beck reported. They appear to be charging energy weapons. Diane considered her options. The aliens clearly knew they were there. The lack of response suggested hostile intent. Yet direct attack seemed unlikely given their apparent technological advantage. Prepare defensive scanners, Diane ordered. Lock onto the lead vessel. Focus all scanning arrays. The crew complied. The Pathfinder's main scanner array powered up, targeting the lead alien ship. Captain, energy surge detected from the alien vessels, Beck called. They appear to be preparing to fire scanners, maximum intensity. Now, Diane commanded. The Pathfinder released a concentrated burst of scanning energy directed at the lead alien vessel. Unlike conventional scanning, which gathered information, this was different. The scanner arrays had been modified based on Lieutenant Morgan's research to maximize the neural echo effect. The result was immediate. The alien vessel suddenly veered off course, its movement becoming erratic. The other ships in formation also began to move strangely, as if their crews were suddenly incapacitated. What just happened? Lieutenant Beck asked, staring at her. Readings. Diane watched the alien ships with careful attention. We just bombarded them with human thought patterns, she said softly. Based on what we learned from Lieutenant Morgan, the aliens have no defense against our chaotic, individualistic consciousness. Their minds are collective, sharing thoughts and emotions constantly. When our patterns touch theirs, it creates psychological disruption. The alien ships drifted now, seemingly without purpose, their formation broken. Several appeared completely powerless. Captain, communications from Earth, Fleet Command. Lieutenant Ward said. Admiral Reeves wants a full report on what just happened. Tell her we just discovered that our scanners are more effective than we thought, Diane replied. The aliens can't handle concentrated human thought patterns. I hit them with maximum scan intensity, and their entire fleet became disabled. We need to document everything that happened here, back on Earth. Admiral Reeves convened an emergency meeting with military and scientific leaders. The reports from the Pathfinder had profound implications. What Captain Foster encountered confirms our theories, Dr. Amy Porter explained. The aliens evolved with collective consciousness. Their neural structures have no defense against the chaotic nature of human thought patterns. When bombarded with concentrated, scanning energy, the effect was like a psychological weapon, so our scanners don't just observe, they attack. Admiral Reeves said, a troubled expression on her face. Not intentionally, Lieutenant Kate Morgan clarified. The effect is a natural consequence of how our technology interacts with their biology. We simply never encountered a species with such different neural architecture before. The more powerful the scan, the more disruptive the effect, Captain. Nancy Blackwood, the intelligence chief, looked thoughtful. This explains why they classified us as a threat from the beginning. They weren't afraid of our weapons, they were afraid of our minds. At the Galactic Consortium headquarters, Elder Sith reviewed the disturbing reports from the edge of human space. 7 vessels disabled, their crews temporarily incapacitated by a single human ship. The implications were severe. We underestimated the humans. Vextral said, her skin pulsing with stress patterns. They have weaponized their scanning technology. They specifically targeted our vessels with concentrated neural patterns. Elder Sith studied the data. The human ship had created what consortium scientists were now calling a Foster cascade named after the human captain. The concentrated burst of human thought patterns had overwhelmed the collective consciousness of the alien crews, rendering them temporarily unable to function. Most disturbing were the detailed neural scans of the affected crew members. Their minds contained echoes of human thought patterns. Images, emotions, and concepts alien to consortium experience remained embedded in their consciousness. Imagination, individual will, fictional scenarios, competition, violence. These concepts, so natural to humans, proved toxic to species. Evolved for collective harmony, the humans must be contained. Morath, the crystalline strategist, insisted. They represent a psychological threat unlike any we've encountered. Their very thought patterns are weapons they don't even recognize. Elder Zith considered the options available. The consortium had vast technological superiority over humans, yet conventional weapons seemed inadequate against a species whose every observation created mental invasion. We must understand them better, Zith decided. Send research vessels to the edge of their territory. Passive observation only. Do not engage directly. We need to learn the full extent of this neural echo effect. Back aboard the Pathfinder, Captain Diane Foster recorded her official report for Earth Fleet Command. The encounter with the alien vessels had changed everything. Humanity now understood that their scanning technology represented both their greatest defense and their greatest diplomatic challenge. Every human ship was essentially a psychological weapon. Captain Foster watched the stars through the main viewport. The alien vessels had eventually recovered, regaining power and retreating at high speed. The Pathfinder tracked them, gathering valuable data on their propulsion systems and energy signatures. The universe had suddenly become more dangerous and more interesting. Somewhere out there, advanced alien minds tried to comprehend the psychological threat humanity represented. And humanity itself was only beginning to understand the power of its own thought patterns projected across the void of space. Lieutenant Beck approached her. Captain, the alien vessels have increased speed. They appear to be transmitting large data packages toward the center of the galaxy. Let them go, Diane replied. We're not here to fight. We're here to learn. And I think we just taught them something important about humanity. What was that, Captain? That sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't physical. It's the way you see the world. Captain Maya Daniels stood on the bridge of the Earth diplomatic vessel Olive Branch. Her ship hovered at the edge of the buffer zone, the region of space where no consortium member species would venture. The neutral territory had become the symbol of an uneasy peace. 5 years after first contact, humanity and the consortium maintained careful distance from each other. Maya checked the ship systems again. The Olive Branch carried minimal weapons but enhanced communication arrays designed by Dr. Laura Thompson. The neural translators represented humanity's best hope for meaningful dialogue with the alien civilization. Lieutenant Tina Roberts looked up from her console. Captain, we have an incoming transmission. It's using the frequency we provided to the consortium diplomats on screen, Maya ordered. The main display activated, showing a being whose form resembled a tall, willowy humanoid with skin that shifted through patterns of blue and green. The alien identified herself as Ithvari, a consortium neuroengineer. Greetings. Captain Daniels. Ithvari said, her voice translated through the ship's computers. I represent a research faction within the consortium. We request a meeting to discuss a potential solution to our mutual communication difficulties. Maya studied the alien carefully, noting the color patterns that Dr. Thompson had identified as indicating sincerity in this species. Why contact us directly rather than through official diplomatic channels? The official consortium position remains cautious. Ithvari replied. My colleagues and I believe more direct engagement is necessary. We have developed a prototype system that may bridge the gap between our neural architectures. Maya considered the request. The Olive Branch had been designed for exactly this kind of diplomatic mission. Yet meeting with a splinter faction rather than official representatives carried risks. Send us your coordinates. Maya decided, we will meet, but be advised that any hostile action will trigger our defensive systems. Understanding flows between us. Ithvari replied, I will transmit the rendezvous location. We come seeking knowledge, not conflict. 2 days later, the Olive Branch approached a small uninhabited star system at the edge of Consortium. Territory long-range scanners detected a single alien vessel in orbit around the system's 5th planet. The ship was smaller than previous Consortium vessels, its design more streamlined. As they approached, Maya ordered defensive scanners to minimum power. The neural echo effect remained their primary defense, but using it aggressively would undermine the diplomatic purpose of their mission. The alien ship transmitted docking protocols. The 2 vessels connected through an extendable docking tube that accommodated both species. Environmental needs, Maya led a small team to the connection point where they waited for the Consortium representatives. The inner door opened, revealing Ithvari, accompanied by 2 other aliens. The meeting chamber had been prepared with neural dampening fields based on Dr. Thompson's research, allowing both species to communicate without the disruptive effects of direct mental contact. Welcome aboard the Olive Branch. Maya said, we appreciate your willingness to meet. Ithvari moved with fluid grace, her skin shifting through patterns of blue and gold. The opportunity to study human thought patterns directly is worth the risk, she replied. Our faction believes that understanding your species is essential to peaceful coexistence. Maya gestured to the conference area where seats had been arranged for both humans and the alien visitors. The neural dampeners hummed softly in the background. I understand you have a proposal. Ithvari activated a holographic display showing a complex device. Its structure incorporated both Consortium crystalline technology and what appeared to be modified human scanning equipment. We have developed a translation system that converts human scanning technology into formats compatible with Consortium neural patterns, Ithvari explained. When properly calibrated, this system allows humans to observe without creating the invasive mental feedback that our species finds so disturbing. Dr. Kelly Martinez, the ship's xenobiologist, leaned forward studying the device. So instead of trying to shield your minds from our scans, this would modify the scans themselves. Precisely, Ithvari confirmed. Our research suggests that human scanning technology can be reconfigured to gather the same data without projecting human consciousness. The neural echo effect can be filtered, controlled. Maya considered the implications. If successful, this technology would transform interspecies relations. Humanity could continue its expansion and exploration without unintentionally causing psychological harm to the Consortium races. What would your leadership think of this proposal? Maya asked. Ithvari's skin shifted to a more complex pattern, indicating nuanced emotions. The Consortium consensus is divided, she admitted. Many fear any technology that exposes our species to human thought patterns. But others, particularly our younger generations, have become fascinated by your differences. The chaotic individuality of human imagination, while initially frightening, offers new ways of thinking. Our collective consciousness never developed. Over the next several days, the human and alien scientists worked together testing the translation system. Each modification brought them closer to a functioning prototype. The breakthrough came when Dr. Martinez suggested incorporating elements of Dr. Thompson's neural interface directly into the scanning array. The combined technology allowed human scanners to observe Consortium vessels without creating mental feedback. The information gathered remained the same, but the process no longer projected human consciousness outward. The aliens could be observed without being psychologically invaded. As the prototype demonstrated success, Maya contacted Earth Fleet Command. Admiral Reeves, now approaching retirement age, viewed the reports with cautious optimism. This could change everything. Admiral Reeves said, her image slightly delayed by the vast distance. If the Consortium adopts this technology, we could establish normal diplomatic relations. Exploration could continue without fear of accidental mental warfare. But there was more to Ithvari's proposal than simply modifying scanning technology. The alien neuroengineer revealed the true motivation. Behind her faction's research captain Daniels Ithvari said, during their final meeting, some within the consortium don't merely wish to shield themselves from human thought patterns. They wish to study them safely. The chaotic individuality you take for granted represents a form of cognitive evolution. Our species abandoned 50,000 years ago. When properly filtered, the unique qualities of human imagination offer tremendous value. Maya understood then that the relationship between humanity and the consortium was evolving in unexpected ways. What had begun as fear was transforming into curiosity. What the aliens had initially perceived as a weapon they now recognized as a different, but equally valid evolutionary path. 1 month later, Admiral Samantha Reeves stood before the Earth Unified Government presenting the historic treaty. Humanity agreed to shared protocols for scanning technology. The consortium acknowledged humanity's right to expand beyond its solar system. Both sides committed to ongoing cultural and scientific exchange. The most significant clause addressed the neural eco effect, directly recognizing it not as a weapon, but as a bridge between different forms of consciousness. With proper translation systems, humans and consortium species could share perspectives without harmful psychological effects. Dr. Laura Thompson, who had pioneered the neural translation technology, addressed the assembly. The treaty represents more than peaceful coexistence, she said. It acknowledges a profound truth. Our differences nearly led to war, but understanding those differences created peace. The top alien minds no longer fear scanning humanity's war fleets. They study them instead, learning from the species whose minds evolved in isolation to develop something the galaxy had never seen before: the ability to imagine worlds that don't exist and the courage to make them real. Across the stars, the consortium races began their own transformation. Exposure to filtered, human thought patterns introduced concepts that had been lost during their evolution toward collective consciousness: individual creativity, imagination, personal perspective. These qualities, once feared as chaotic and dangerous, now offered new evolutionary possibilities. Captain Maya Daniels received a new assignment commanding the first joint human consortium research vessel. The ship, named Fearful Symmetry, incorporated technology from both civilizations, its mission to explore regions of space unknown to either species. Its crew composed of beings whose minds functioned in fundamentally different ways, yet who had learned to see value in that difference. As the Fearful Symmetry prepared for launch, Maya stood on the observation deck watching the stars. The universe had transformed in 5 short years from a place of mystery and potential threat to a frontier of shared discovery. Two forms of consciousness so alien to each other had found not just coexistence but synergy. The ship's enhanced scanners powered up, mapping the space ahead. The neural translation systems ensured that observation remained just that, observation without invasion. The technology that had once terrified the galaxy's most advanced species now formed the foundation of a new understanding. Ithvari joined her on the observation deck, the alien's skin glowing with patterns of anticipation. "We have only begun to explore the possibilities," she said. "The combination of our collective harmony and your chaotic individuality creates something entirely new." Maya nodded, watching as the stars stretched before them. The universe was vast beyond comprehension. 6 months passed since the first alien contact. Lieutenant Kate Morgan stood in the research lab aboard the exploration vessel. Curiosity. Her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun as she adjusted the neural interface headset. The small room hummed with energy as various machines monitored the captured alien drone ship. "This is test sequence 47. Kate spoke into her recorder. "The drone remains inactive, but previous scans show intact power systems and what appears to be a central processing core. We are attempting modified scanning procedure using the theta wave resonator." 2 other scientists worked nearby. Dr. Amy Porter monitored the neural interface that Kate wore. The device was designed to give Kate direct feedback from the scanning equipment, allowing her to make micro-adjustments based on intuition, rather than waiting for computer analysis. "Begin scan," Kate said. The modified scanner hummed to life, sending invisible waves of energy toward the alien drone. The small craft sat, motionless on the examination platform, its metallic surface absorbing light in unnatural ways. The drone had been discovered drifting near Neptune, seemingly abandoned after the larger alien vessel departed the solar system. Kate watched the readings carefully. Each previous scan had revealed little. The alien technology resisted conventional analysis. Methods that worked perfectly on human materials seemed to slide off the alien metals as if they weren't really there. Something different happened this time. As the scan reached full power, Kate felt a strange sensation through the neural interface. It began as a tingling at the base of her skull, then expanded into her mind like water filling a container. Amy looked up in alarm. "Kate, your neural patterns are spiking. Are you okay?" Kate could barely hear her. The world around her faded as her mind filled with symbols and images not her own. Fractured memories flowed through her consciousness, scenes from places that could not exist on Earth, structures that defied physics knowledge in languages never spoken by human tongues. Kate. She felt hands grabbing her shoulders. Amy was shaking her. The neural interface shut down abruptly, leaving Kate gasping for air. What happened? Amy demanded helping. Kate to a chair. Kate struggled to organize her thoughts. I felt her voice trailed off as she tried to make sense of the experience. "They know about us. They know and they're afraid." "What are you talking about?" Dr. Porter asked. Checking Kate's vital signs. The scanner, Kate said. "It doesn't just scan them, it touches their minds somehow. When we scan their technology, we create some kind of mental connection. They can feel us looking at them." Admiral Samantha Reeves frowned as she reviewed Lieutenant Morgan's report. The conference room at Earth Fleet headquarters was filled with military and scientific leaders, all trying to understand the implications of what had been discovered. "So you're telling me our scanning technology is accidentally telepathic?" Admiral Reeves said, her skepticism evident. "Not telepathic exactly," Dr. Porter clarified. "Our scanners emit specific energy patterns that resonate with the neural structures of the alien beings. This creates a momentary connection between minds, the T. Aliens evolved with collective consciousness, so this connection is natural to them but overwhelming, because human thought patterns are so different from theirs, and they can feel every scan we perform." Captain Nancy Blackwood asked the head of fleet, intelligence looking troubled. "Every single one," Kate confirmed, "and based on what I experienced, they find the contact extremely disturbing. Their minds work collectively, sharing thoughts and emotions constantly. When our individualistic, chaotic human thoughts touch theirs even briefly, it's like a psychological shock." Admiral Reeves stood up and walked to the window overlooking Washington, D.C. The implications of this discovery were staggering. Earth had been developing increasingly powerful scanning technology for decades. Every ship in the fleet carried multiple scanning arrays. All human space installations used constant scanning protocols as standard procedure. "If what you're saying is true, Lieutenant, then every time we scan for alien vessels, we're essentially shouting directly into their minds," Reeves said. "Worse than that," Kate replied. "Based on what I experienced through the neural link, they find the content of human thoughts terrifying. Our capacity for imagination, violence, and individuality is completely alien to their collective consciousness." Captain Blackwood pulled up a holographic display showing the deployment of Earth Fleet vessels throughout the solar system. "If these aliens are as advanced as we believe, they could wipe us out without breaking a sweat." "So why haven't they?" Dr. Porter spoke up. "We think it's because they fear direct contact with our minds. The more powerful the scan, the more intense the mental connection. When Commander Winters increased scanner power at Ceres, the aliens retreated immediately. They weren't afraid of our weapons. They were afraid of our minds touching theirs." A chill settled over the room as the implications became clear. Humanity had accidentally discovered the one thing that frightened: a vastly superior alien civilization. Their unique thought patterns. The very nature of human consciousness appeared threatening to beings that had evolved with entirely different mental structures. "We need to understand this better," Admiral Reeves said decisively. "Lieutenant Morgan, I want you and Dr. Porter to continue your research. Find out exactly how our scanners create this effect. and if possible develop ways to control it. Captain Black would contact all fleet vessels, inform them that scanning protocols are now classified as potential first contact situations. All scans of unknown objects must be reported immediately. Kate nodded, but her expression remained troubled. There was something else, something she'd glimpsed in that moment, of connection with the alien mind. A vast network of worlds and species united in fear of what humanity might do if allowed to spread beyond their solar system, across the galaxy. In the consortium hub, Elder Zith reviewed the latest reports from the observation posts monitoring the human solar system. The humans were becoming more active, their ships venturing farther into their system, always scanning, always looking. Their curiosity seemed boundless and deeply concerning. We have confirmed that each human scanning event creates neural feedback. Vextrel reported her skin now a deep blue of scientific certainty. Their technology somehow bridges the gap between energy and consciousness. Even their automated probes carry this effect. Any scan they perform creates a momentary mental connection. Elder Zith considered this information. For 50,000 years, the consortium races had evolved toward collective consciousness, seeing it as the pinnacle of development. The idea that individual, chaotic minds could be more powerful, more frightening had never occurred to them. The humans, with their isolation, their conflicts, their imagination, represented something the consortium had never encountered. Have the humans detected our observation posts? Zith asked. No, Vextrel replied. We maintain passive monitoring only. Any active scan would alert them to our presence. Their technology is primitive in most ways, but this accidental psychic ability makes direct study dangerous. The consortium, meeting chamber filled with representatives from all 17 advanced species. Some demanded immediate containment of the human threat. Others argued for careful study. A few even suggested that this new form of consciousness might offer evolutionary advantages worth exploring. What they all agreed upon was that humanity must not learn the true nature of their scanning technology. If humans discovered that their very observation methods functioned as psychic weapons, they might develop this capability, intentionally. The thought of a space fleet armed with technology specifically designed to project human consciousness into alien minds was too terrifying to contemplate. Back on the Curiosity, Kate Morgan worked through the night studying the scanner modifications. The alien drone remained silent, but each carefully calibrated scan revealed more about the connection between human technology and alien minds. Kate felt like she was standing at the edge of a revolution in understanding her mind, filled with possibilities and questions all centered on one fascinating truth. Humans didn't just observe the universe. They touched it with their thoughts, and somewhere out among the stars, advanced beings trembled at the implications. Dr. Laura Thompson leaned forward, studying the alien neural interface captured during a recent skirmish at the edge of the solar system. The device pulsed with subtle energy as she carefully probed its structure. Earth scientists had been studying consortium technology for 2 years now. Each discovery revealed more about the vast difference between human and alien thought patterns. 2 years into the silent conflict, no actual weapons had been fired. Yet the consortium considered itself under attack. Humanity continued to expand, establishing colonies on Mars and several moons of Jupiter. Each new settlement protected by ships whose scanning systems the aliens now classified as weapons of psychological warfare. Dr. Thompson activated the neural interface and felt the familiar disorienting sensation as alien thought patterns brushed against her consciousness. Unlike human technology, which processed information in linear digital sequences, the alien device operated on principles of shared awareness. Its function was not to compute but to connect. Laura gasped as understanding flooded her mind. These beings evolved, sharing thoughts so completely they never developed the concept of mental privacy. She whispered to her assistant, who recorded her observations. They have no psychological defenses against individual minds. Their neural architecture contains no concept of shielding personal thoughts. The implications were staggering. Human imagination was as deadly to consortium races as a virus to an organism with no immune system. When humans scanned alien vessels, they unintentionally projected their chaotic, individualistic thought patterns into minds, evolved for collective harmony. The effect was devastating, not because humans were inherently aggressive, but because they were inherently different. Admiral Samantha Reeves studied Dr. Thompson's report in her Pentagon office. Outside her window, Earth continued its normal routines. Most civilians remained unaware of the true nature of the silent standoff with the consortium. The public knew about alien contact, of course, but the military kept the neural echo effect classified. This confirms what we've suspected, Admiral Reeves said to her assembled staff. The consortium, races evolved for collective consciousness. They share thoughts and emotions constantly across their civilization. This created incredible technological and social advancement, but left them with no defense against outside thought patterns, especially ones as chaotic as ours, and they've given us an ultimatum. Captain Nancy Blackwood added. The consortium demands that humanity remain within its solar system and dismantle all long-range scanning technology, or face extinction. Dr. Thompson finished, Admiral. Reeves stood up, pacing the room thoughtfully. 2 years of research and diplomatic attempts had reached a deadlock. The consortium feared human expansion, yet humanity could not agree to permanent confinement within one star system. The neural echo effect could not be eliminated without abandoning the very technology that allowed space exploration. We cannot change our nature. Admiral Reeves said finally. We cannot alter how our minds work. Neither can they. They fear us because we're different, not because we're hostile. Captain Blackwood nodded. But they won't believe that their experience with our scanning technology has convinced them that we're inherently invasive. They can't comprehend that the effect is unintentional. What options do we have? Dr. Thompson asked. Admiral Reeves looked out at the night sky visible through her office window. Then she made her decision. Tell the President. I recommend Operation Mindstorm. It's time to demonstrate our full capability. 1 week later, 500 Earthships moved into formation at the edge of consortium space. Each vessel carried enhanced neural eco-arrays, specially modified based on Dr. Thompson's research. The formation spread out, creating a vast network of human observation platforms, all targeted at a single point in space. Captain Elizabeth Harris commanded the lead vessel. She had been personally selected by Admiral Reeves for this mission. Her background in xenopsychology made her uniquely qualified to understand what they were about to attempt. All ships report ready for synchronized scanning, Captain Harris said, reviewing the status updates from the fleet. The target coordinates were empty space, but the message would be clear. Begin Operation Mindstorm on my mark. Captain Harris ordered 321 Mark 500 scanner arrays activated simultaneously, all focused on the same coordinates. The combined neural echo created a psychic shockwave that rippled through space. Energy signatures spiked across monitoring stations throughout the solar system. At the consortium, monitoring outposts' alarms blared as sensors detected the massive burst of human thought patterns. The concentrated neural echo disrupted consortium communications across 12 star systems. The psychic shockwave temporarily overwhelmed the collective consciousness of dozens of alien worlds. For 7 minutes, no consortium vessel could navigate, no communications network could function. The species that had evolved sharing thought suddenly experienced a tsunami of human consciousness. Imagination, individuality, chaos, potential violence, wonder, hope, fear, all projected outward in a massive demonstration of unintentional power. When it ended, Captain Harris ordered the fleet to maintain position. Send the message, she instructed her communications officer. A simple transmission followed broadcast on all frequencies in the alien language. Humanity cannot change its nature any more than you can change yours. Attempting to contain us will result in unintentional but devastating mental warfare. We seek peaceful coexistence, but we will not be imprisoned. In the crystalline chambers of the consortium headquarters, Elder Sith struggled to process what had happened. The humans had demonstrated a capability beyond anything the consortium had anticipated. The synchronized neural echo had penetrated the most sophisticated mental shields, disrupting communications across a significant portion of consortium territory. This Changes everything, Elder Sith said to the assembled representatives. Our containment strategy is unworkable. The humans have demonstrated they can project their consciousness across vast distances. Their thought patterns disrupt our very way of existence. Vextral, whose study of humans had become her life's work, spoke carefully. We have been approaching this problem from the wrong perspective. We keep trying to shield ourselves from human thought patterns, but perhaps we should be learning from them instead. The chamber erupted in mental communication. Some outraged, some curious, more wrath. The crystalline strategist pulsed with concern. The humans remain dangerous. Their chaotic thought patterns undermine the very foundation of our collective consciousness. But that chaos also contains something we've lost. Vextral argued their individualistic thinking creates imagination possibilities we could never conceive. Their minds evolved in isolation, allowing for development paths we never explored. Elder Sith considered this perspective. For 50,000 years, the consortium had pursued collective consciousness, seeing it as the pinnacle of evolution. What if that path had also created limitations? What if humanity's chaotic individualism offered evolutionary advantages the consortium races had sacrificed? We must reconsider our approach, Yith decided. The humans have demonstrated they cannot be contained. Their neural patterns will reach us regardless of our defenses. Perhaps instead of fearing their difference, we should study it. Back on Earth, Admiral Reeves received the first response from the consortium in months. The message was simple but profound. We hear you. The consortium requests new diplomatic talks with appropriate mental shielding protocols. Dr. Laura Thompson worked through the night developing a modified neural interface that might allow communication without the overwhelming side effects of direct mental contact. Her research had shown that human thought patterns could be filtered, translated into forms less disruptive to consortium neural structures. We can't change what we are, Dr. Thompson explained to Admiral Reeves. But we can change how we communicate. We can develop interfaces that translate our thought patterns into forms they can process without psychological damage. Admiral Reeves nodded thoughtfully, studying the prototype neural translator. Operation Mindstorm had accomplished its goal, demonstrating both humanity's power and its desire for peace. The synchronized neural echo had been a psychological show of force, but also a plea for understanding. The greatest weapon in this conflict has been difference itself, Admiral Reeves observed. Two forms of consciousness so alien to each other that mere observation becomes invasion. Yet perhaps that difference can become our greatest strength across the solar system. Humanity prepared for a new phase of galactic relations. Ships continued to patrol the borders of human space, their scanners now recognized as both tools of exploration and instruments of psychological defense. The consortium maintained its distance, but diplomatic channels reopened. In her laboratory, Dr. Thompson activated the neural translator and felt the familiar brush of alien consciousness across her mind. But this time something had changed. The alien thought seemed more curious than frightened, more willing to explore the strange, individualistic patterns of human thinking. Perhaps she thought that was the first step toward real understanding, the recognition that difference need not mean danger, that the very thought patterns the consortium feared could also be the source of new possibilities. Neither humanity nor the consortium could change their fundamental nature, but both could learn to see the universe through each other's eyes, and that thought perhaps was the most powerful weapon of all.